Hello, AC Universe, and welcome back to Canada Crossing. My name is Danny, and today we are back on my island of Fire Cove. This is our ElegantCore island. So ever since the 2.0 update dropped, I have been very overwhelmed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't know what to do. It was just so much content and so much items. I didn't even know where to start with my next build, to be completely transparent. I had all these ideas in mind, and then when the update came, it's like, no, like, what are you even gonna do now? How are you gonna incorporate all these items? And I was just going around in circles. So it was a great weekend as far as exploring everything, but I just could not even think about recording any content. I was just overwhelmed. So today we are going to buckle down and we are actually going to do a build and include some of the new items, which is really exciting. What I've decided to build here is a community garden, considering we got all the crops. Wasn't originally in my plan for this island. However, I think it'll fit and it's a good way to utilize all the crops. So we're just going to build a little community garden here. I'd already started another build, but obviously that was scrap. I'm really excited to get this speed build started. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, so we're going to get this started. When I first started the build, I had a few ideas, but like I said, it was very overwhelming. I knew a couple of the items I wanted to throw in here, but it was more a way to showcase all the new crops. So I thought a community garden would be a good way for that. And why not, right? Why not? So I'm just extending the path just a little bit in. I didn't want the path to go right through it. And because this is a city, more of a city island, I actually don't have any dirt paths saved. So I just decided to go without a path throughout the garden. I actually like the way it turned out. It is spring on my island and it will always be spring. So I definitely think it works with a lot of the green grass. So I'm happy with that. These wood partitions, and you can customize them through Cyrus and many different customizations, but I am in love with them. They may be one of my favorite items in the game. I think they're so nice, so versatile. You can use them in so many different ways and places, indoors, outdoors. I knew right away this is where I wanted them to be, and I thought this whole entrance to the garden is probably one of my favorite parts of the whole build. I'm really happy with how that turned out. And it's definitely suits the whole ElegantCore city core island that I'm going, even though, yes, I'm doing more of a garden country build, it still works with the island, and I'm really happy with that. So I'm placing 4 dirt plots, so it's 4 villagers community garden spots. So that's how I wanted to work that out. And each plot is going to be different in the way I allocate the crops, right? So some villagers are going to have a very proper garden. Some villagers are going to have a hodgepodge, scatterbrained garden. So that's how I kind of went about it. Your lazy villagers, like this is probably Walker's garden. It's just a little bit of everything everywhere. Whereas the next garden is going to be all straight lines, and that's going to be probably Diana because she's snooty, so she'd be all organized, right? So that's how I'm kind of placing it. I mean, that's what's going on in my head as I'm doing this, just so you know. It's not just complete randomness. So yeah, I was playing the update almost all weekend, like literally almost all weekend. I don't think I did much else. I'm obsessed with the DLC as well. I mean, I am gonna post some DLC content coming up, so don't worry about that. But I wanted to start out with one just island build first, as my first 2.0 build. And I think this was the best way to go about it. Crops was such a huge addition to the game. I really wanted them to make them a focal point of my first 2.0 build. And I think I think this does the trick, and I'm quite happy with it. So what are you guys all thinking about the 2.0? I mean, it's almost like a completely different game. When I'm picking items for this build, this was where the overwhelming part came in. I didn't know what to use, and I was going back and forth, and how much of the old stuff did I want to incorporate. So I really tried to focus a lot on the newer things for this particular build, just to showcase them. I mean, there's a lot of great DIY furniture that we have, and it's not like I'm going to suddenly forget about it. I think a lot of it has its place and will still be used all the time. So definitely it'll be nice once we kind of get settled with all the new things. We get that more intertwined old and new stuff, and we really see what everyone is capable of. That's the most exciting thing for me about this whole thing, is just seeing what everyone comes up with, because there's so many things you can do now. And it's just like the creative minds just go crazy, like go on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and just seeing what everyone is doing. It's just like unreal. So I'm very happy to be a very, very small part of that. So of course, white picket fence. You knew the first 2.0 build that I did, it was gonna have to be included. We wanted this white picket fence for a year and a half. We got it. You know I was gonna put it on this island. Come on, you knew it. I love it. The wheat, this is a wheat decoration. It was actually just purchased from Nook's Granny. You can run through it, which is amazing, and don't think I didn't have them placed all around, and I was just running all around through them. They're so cool. They come actually in 3 different colors. This is the pale green, and love it. Love it, love it, love it. I think it works so well behind this fence just to add a little bit more height. And it's not so you're just like seeing the water right behind it. It just kind of adds a little character to the build as well. So I'm quite happy with how that turned out. I did want to put a few custom designs down here on the ground just to have a little kind of area for them to relax or prep their gardens, things like that. So I did just have a little, those stepping stones are one of my all-time favorite patterns, so I use them everywhere, and I thought, okay, I didn't want a full like square off path. I wanted just kind of a random stone, so I think they worked out really well. And then this is new as well, this garden chair and table. It's like that plastic patio furniture that I think everybody's had at one point in their life. So, and they come in multiple colors as well. But I wanted to go with the classic white for my island, which is a lot of white. And those are 2 new plants. And the one in the bluish kind of pot, that's actually the coffee bean plant that Brewster actually awards you after so many coffees, so that was kind of cool. And then it adds to your catalog, so I could just order a whole bunch of them, which was great. The pots cannot be customized though, just so you know. That greenhouse thing too is a great thing. I wish it also could be customized, there's only the one version, but then I wanted to create a little garden shed with these bus stops, and I thought it turned out really cool. I wish they came right together, but kind of using some magic and hiding it with that plant, I think still did the trick. And it's, you know, it's just a cute little garden shed. So just get 2 bus stops, and hey, there you go. That ash tree too, right in the middle. The rims there can be customized to different colors, so that's also something very cool and just fit perfectly in that center. And these bags of soil, another item. They're just they're stacked bags, I think is what they're called. And then there's a whole bunch of customizations that go with them, and one is soil bags, so here you go, perfect. I knew I wanted this bunny somewhere because I really liked it, but it'll be in a few different spots until I finally find the spot. Same with this wagon. That's where it's going to find its home. This antique radio too is really cool. I just got it actually in this cranny, I think, before I did this build, so I was like, oh, I'm going to include that. Why not? You'd have a radio while you're out there gardening. I love this milk jug, I think it's called, milk canister, something like that. It comes in also many varieties, but it's great. Of course, the new bike with the basket, gorgeous, had to include that. Just wanted it over a little bit, so finally I was like, okay, here we're gonna dig out a potato just to get it to fit, and it looks great that way, and I'm glad that's what we ended up doing. Alright, so I've got my coffee. Let's go have a tour of the build. This community garden was actually a lot of fun to build, and wasn't as overwhelming as I was originally thinking. So I'm quite happy with the turnout, and basically all I wanted to do was have 4 plots representing some of our villagers, so each villager would have their own plot, and this is what they've decided to plant. And you can see by the state of the plots how organized each of the villagers that have them are. So we have some that are going rows, and some are just a hodgepodge of everything. So I thought that was kind of true to the story of the villagers, like some maybe just like tomatoes, so that's all they've got in their plot. So that was my thought process through all of that. And then of course just placing gardening stuff all around, and luckily we got a lot of new gardening stuff, so I'm quite happy with how that turned out. I love the wheat along the back of the build. I have to say, I have to toot my own horn. I'm gonna do it right now. But I just thought that was a nice way to kind of add to the backdrop, and it's kind of just like these tall, almost like weeds grown in the back that no one's mowing the grass back there. That was kind of my thought process for that. And kind of, past the fence, nobody's really maintaining that area. And I love that item, and I'm quite happy with how that turned out. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if there's, first of all, anything I used that you're curious of the name of, because it's a learning process. We're all trying to get the names down of all the new stuff, and I'll be sure to answer you. And let me know if you think of the build, and what are you building first with the 2.0 items? I'd love to know. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.